Good morning, and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Oh, let me get this adjusted right here. There we go. All right, so we are going to be spending about the next 40 minutes together with some beauty on the outside and a whole lot of beauty on the inside. So I hope that you are ready to go. Our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And then we're just going to do a little review. Well, actually, let's go over to where our verses are coming from this season. So, our verses this season are coming from the Word and Color coloring book, and got the QR code there on your screen. And then there's also a link for that. The verse that we're going to be working on this week, let me show you that one. This is our page for this week that we're going to be working on. So at the end of the season, you're going to have this beautiful portfolio of all the verses that you have learned and colored. So just kind of a little fun thing to do. So let's look at our verse from last week. I loved the balloon picture for that one. Our verse from last week was set your mind on things above, and that comes from Colossians 3:2. And then this week, we're going to be working on Proverbs again. So, verse this week is trust in the Lord with all your heart, and that is Proverbs 3:5. Oh gosh. So, Colossians was 3:2 and Proverbs is 3:5. That's kind of cool. I'm not sure if that'll be confusing or easier, but there you go. All right. So, this week, we are going to have a gray theme. Let me get down here and get our verse scrolling across the bottom while we're going. There you go. So, Juvia's Place launched a new palette, which we'll do an unboxing of that later this week. But I love the Rebel Grays. So, this is going to kind of be what we're going to be looking at this week. Check out these beautiful colors. So, we're going to borrow from a couple of other palettes as well to complete the eye look, but that's what we're going to be working on this week. So let's just jump right in and get ready. We are going to start with our Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Matte Pro Filter Mattifying Primer. I know, kind of a mouthful. I have combination skin, so this is going to give my foundation a great place to set and to last longer and to not move around. And then it's also going to help control oil. So we're just going to give that one nice little pump right there. Tips of your fingers. And then you're going to put that in any place where you feel like you need to blend out the skin just a little bit. You have any problem with your foundation sticking, fine lines, wrinkles, pretty much you're just putting it all over your whole face. I like to get it around my lips, especially. If you have older skin like I do, then that is a great way to keep your lipstick where it belongs. All right. And then we are going to move on to our IT Cosmetics. This is the Bye Bye Under Eye. This is in the 11 Light Nude. And this one, it does not take very much. So depending on how many things you are trying to cover, we are talking, oh, that didn't make a very nice line, but we're just talking a little tiny bit. And then you're going to add that to any place where you need a little concealing, a little illumination. That could be illumination, or it could be illumination. Anyways. All right. So we're just going to let that warm up to our body temperature, set on the skin for just a minute. I do have some redness kind of going on here. So you may have less things that you need to conceal. And so less product will need to be used. All right. Now I have already dampened my beauty blender. So you can already see the size of that. It is puffed up and nice and ready to go. So, excuse me, for the concealer part, we're going to be using the pointy part of that. And we're just going to blend that out now that that has warmed up for just a minute to our body temperature. And the point of that is just going to get in all those little areas just nicely to blend that out. Now, if you're one of those just wear concealer people, you'll want your concealer to be a little closer to your skin tone. And then you can pretty much just do this and move on to the next part. But for those of us who actually use a little foundation, we're going to move on to the next part. So for today, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter, and this is in the shade 185. So you want to give that a couple of shakes before you go putting that on. Mix everything up nice and good. We're going to be using the round end of our Beauty Blender for that. And you're just going to use kind of partial pumps, just about that much there. And we're just going to dab that around. Kind of a patting, blurring motion. You don't got to be all too exact about it. Just get it on there and blend it out. If you asked 10 people how to put on foundation, you would probably get 10 different answers and all of them would be right. All right, we're going to do another partial pump here. There you go. You find the method that works best for you, something that you can live with, that you have time for, and you just run with that. Another partial pump. And we're just making it up to where that concealer is so we can blend that out. Good morning. I see some of you joining me in the chat. Couple YouTubers, couple of Facebookers. Nice to have you with us. Okay, partial pump. Blend that out along that chin line there. No harsh edges. And here you just kind of, I mean, you could blend in and up, doesn't matter. We're not tugging terribly. You're just blending it out. All right, and we got another partial pump. Maybe there we go. And dab it out on that forehead. And then we'll blend that out. Oh, I am feeling much better. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, last week I was sick on Thursday, so I wasn't able to be here with you. It is a live show, so sad to have that happen, but thank you so much for asking. Yes, ma'am. All right. Once you have got that where you want it, give a little close up, give a little check. Here we go. And now we are going to move on to setting that. Like I have mentioned numerous times before, I have combination oily skin. Whether you do or not doesn't matter. This is a great setting powder. This is the Lancome Long Time No Shine. It has a very fine mill, so really good in that respect. It does come with the little puff in there right now. So you're just going to take that puff out, screw that lid back on, give it a couple of taps, and then the powder will be in your little reservoir there. Okay, so I love the little fingery thing that you get with this one. We're going to start out under the eyes. Oh, and I did just see yesterday, we have a new, I know we have people keep coming in and asking for the triangle shape one of these, which we haven't had any, but we just got some in from Real Techniques. In fact, I should have got one and used it today. So it's just a different shape. I mean, the texture of the pad and all that's going to be exactly the same. But we do have one that's in that triangular shape. So pretty cool. It has on one side the powder puff, and then on the other side is actually like a beauty blender texture. So you get to totally do your foundation with that one thing. So not sure if it's good or if it's bad, but there you go. We got it. Oh, and it's also this week on the uh, buy one, get one half off. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's Yeah, it's from Real Techniques, and it's like pink on one side and then the orange sponge color on the other side. All right, and with this, you're just going to kind of pat, gently rub that in. We're not rubbing too much because we're not trying to take off the foundation. You're just kind of patting it in there. So every place that you put that foundation, you're just going to press this in. And we're going to make sure to get our forehead too. There we go. And once you feel like you have covered that well, we're going to set that to the side. And it feels like I have got something in my eye. That's always fun. All right. We are going to press on to our contouring. We're going to be using the Benefit Cheek in the Mail. This one has a Hula, Cookie, and Terra in there. For today, I'm just going to be using the Hula and the Cookie. So Hula's going to be this end, and then Cookie is going to be this end. So we're going to start out with the flat end of the brush. We're going to go just above where the recess of that jawline is. A little bit of a circular kind of motion there. There you go. Using that flat end again, we're going to go just along that hairline, bring it down just a little. And now we're going to use the flat side of this and get under the jaw. And on the other side, same flat side, either side of the nose. There you go. Now we're going to use the big side and we're going to jump into our cookie there. Cookie is going to go right on the top of the cheekbone and alongside of the temple and the eyebrow. Third and final swipe is going to be right down the center of the face, making sure we're hitting that cupid's bow nicely. That will accentuate that when we get our lipstick on here in just a second. And then we're going to move to our blush brush. This one is a MAC. I cannot see the number on this anymore. We're going to be using the Juvia's Place. This is the blushed. This is the volume 4. And we're going to be living up here in this one right here. Does not take much of this one. So make sure you just kind of like literally tap, tap with that, and then you're good. That's going to go right between that bronzer and highlighter that you just put on there. I'm going to tap it just once, get it along that line there, a little tiny on the tip, a little on the chin. The Juvia's Place blushes are amazing, but they are highly pigmented. So make sure you start out with less and then build if you need to. All right. Speaking of Juvia's Place, we are going to be trying out. I have not ever wore her lipsticks before. So we are going to try out one of her lipsticks today. I couldn't actually find a lipstick liner shade that I like. So we're going to try it without one and see how we like that. So before we jump into that, though, we are going to say our verse together. So our verse for this week, scrolling across the bottom of your screen, is trust in the Lord with all your heart. And that comes from Proverbs 3, verse 5. All right, back to our Juvia's Place lip. Here we go. So this one is called Chic, and this is just kind of a pretty mauve kind of color. So trying to have the eyes be more of a focus today. So we're going to pull the throttle back just a little bit on the lips so that the focus is going to be on the eyes. So let's try that here. Oh, very nice natural color. almost as if I don't have anything on at all. And this one is in her, what is that? Suede, no. The nudes, mauves, and this is the color of chic. So that's kind of pretty. I like that. We'll see how it wears today. All right, and now we're going to be jumping into the eyes. So like I said, we are going to be focusing on the Rebel Grays palette today. And this is a beautiful series of grays from Juvia's Place. So we're going to start out, though, with one shade from the Wahala 2. And that is going to be the Shakara right here. And then in just a little bit, we're going to be using the Urban Decay. I know their singles aren't in these circle ones anymore, but it's the shade Blackout. So whether you're in the circle one or you're in the square one, you're in a good place. Okay, so we're going to start out with our all over shadow brush, aka concealer brush from It Cosmetics. And we're going to grab that Shakara, just a little couple swipes, and we're going to get that up on that brow bone here. This is going to be the lightest shade that you have to work with. So you can do this with any shades that you have. You could blues, purples, greens, doesn't matter. Same shade, 4 different intensities. But I usually try to keep some kind of neutrally kind of color up here on the brow bone, just so that you have something nice to blend it out to. All right. Set that aside for just a minute, and now we're going to jump into the Rebel Grays. All right. We are going to start with the smaller all over shadow brush. This is actually a MAC. And these shades, it doesn't look like they're actually named, but we're going to start out with, you could do one of the medium shades. You could do either this one or this one. For today, I'm going to do this one here. Then we'll be using this to blend out up on the top of the brow bone, and then we'll be using this in the crease to accent the eye and to really make that eye pop out and appear bigger. So we're going to start out with that medium shade. Just get that in there a couple of times. And then that's going to go over the whole rest of the bottom of that lid. That's a beautiful gray color. And same thing on the other side. Now remember 2 things you have nearby while you're doing this. In the event of fallout, you're going to need a fluffy brush. This is a MAC 187, but any kind of fluffy powder brush will do you. And we'll use that to dust off any excess that might fall onto our cheek. Fluffy and loose is the key for that, so that it fluffs away and it doesn't blend onto your cheek. All right, and now we're just going to blend that up into that lighter color a little bit. There we go. We are going to grab our crease brush, which is an angled shadow brush. And we're going to go into the darker color. This you're just going to drag across the shadow like this, trying to get this surface here with the shadow on it. Let me see if I can, there we go. And we're going to go just above where that eye socket bone is. Bring it down just a little bit, about halfway. Reload that brush as needed. And again, coming about halfway. Okay, go ahead and take your fluffy brush now. And gently just let those hairs barely touch the surface of your skin and then wipe that away. If you end up with anything too much, you can always use your bullet, and the bullet can get that away too. All right. Now, I mentioned the shade Blackout. So we're going to grab our Blackout, which is just a really nice black shade. And we're going to be using our eyeliner brush. And the eyeliner brush is just going to work the right along that brow bone to give some definition. And then in a minute, we'll kind of dab it off, and then we'll also use it for under the eye. So we're going to go about halfway, and we're just going to give a line just like that. Don't worry, it's not going to stay like that. And then we're going to come here right along the lid line right there like that. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, we're also going to be using our smudger today. So grab that smudger. You are just going to dip the very tip of that in that shadow a couple times, just a couple taps. And now we're going to blend out and work out that line that we just put there. Making sure we pay special attention to the outside corner of that eye there. Here we go. Just blend that out. Soften that line. All right. And without putting any additional shadow on there, take the angled brush that you had, and we're just going to work over the outer edge of that darker color we had, blending it out ever so slightly into the lighter color. Then we're going to grab the medium color that we had here on the bottom, go over that upper edge of that, blend that out into that lighter shade. There we go. Take your fluffy brush, go over that one more time. All right. And we may need just a little couple taps here. Lighten that back up. There we go. Nice. All right. Now our shadow is done. We are going to grab our liner. This is the Juvia's Place. Let me see, what's this? This is the Nubian eyeliner in Kajal. And then in a minute, we're going to be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex liquid liner. So let's just start with this one here. Love this one. It's a mechanical, so you get a nice, I think this one's actually touts to be waterproof, but it's just a nice, smooth, stays all day. Never had it bleed out or leak out or transfer or any of that kind of stuff. And because it's mechanical, you actually get all the product rather than sharpening away the product. All right, then we're going to work about halfway across on the bottom there. Then get my little magnifier. There we go. There you go. Just a nice thin line on that bottom line there. Pull back away, double check yourself. Nice. And if you feel like you did get a little bit of excess underneath the eye, grab your puff that you had loaded and just tap that away. And then we are going to use our liner brush again. And you're going to grab the medium color that you used. Actually, wipe off the black. Don't forget to do that. And that medium color that you used, and we're just going to line underneath the eye with that medium color. All right. Now I feel like we do got a little bit of darknessy happening around here. So we're going to take the detail shadow brush, and the lighter color that we used up here, we're just going to tap some of that in the inner corners down here. And let's just open up that eye just a little bit. Okay, much better, much better. Let's just get it right there in the inside corner. Okay, nice. Now we're going to grab that Better Than Sex liner, give it a couple of shakes so that the product can mix up inside of there. And we're just going to lightly line that whole top lid. That's going to give our lashes something to adhere to in just a minute. It also will cover any gaps if when you put your lashes on, there ends up any space between your lashes and the natural lash line. This will kind of hide that. Just a little bit of an insurance policy. This one is my favorite liquid liner. It's easy to use. It lasts a long time. It's easy to get a thin line. Doesn't transfer. Never had to go anywhere. Love it. Alrighty, and so because I have fashion colored hair, I will not be using a traditional brow product, but you use what goes with you, what look you're trying to achieve today, what hair color you have, what shirt you're wearing, however you match your brows. But for me today, I'm going to be using the NYX. This is the Epic Wear Liner Stick, and this is in Pink Spirit. So we are just going to follow that brow line. And then we will exaggerate it here in just a second. There we go. Now we've got that bottom line in place. Now we're just going to fill in the front and then come up over the top. There we go. And now we're going to match that on the other side. Alrighty, let's see if we can say our verse while we're doing this, because I think we got some room for thinking. Okay, so last week's was set your mind on things above, and this week's is, oh my goodness, there you go. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And this is Proverbs 3:5. Okay, just making sure I got them pretty even there. Actually, think this one needs a little bit more up here. All right. Once you feel like you've got them pretty even, use your little spoolie. Could come on the end of your brow product. Could be a separate thing that you have. But just use your spoolie to kind of brush that through. Get those hairs to be where you want them to be. If you use a brow setting gel, like the Benefit Brow Setter, you'll want to do that now. Or maybe you use the Anastasia. Could be a brow soap. Whatever it is. There's a bazillion different brow products you could set your brow with. Then we're going to take our all over shadow brush, just come back right up underneath that brow, make sure we didn't muss anything up there. All right. We are going to be using the, this is the IT Cosmetics. This is the Superhero Waterproof Mascara. I am going to be trying that today. So we'll see how that wears and how that lasts and how easy or not that is to come off. So again, we're going to be using our our Tarte Lash Curler. So you're going to go next to the lash line, but not pinching your lid. You want to pull it out just a smidge so that when you squeeze that down, it's going to be up next to your lash line, but not actually pinching the lid. And then we're going to say our verse together while we're doing that. It's kind of a short verse, so I'll probably say it twice. Okay, here we go. Let me let it go back around. There we go. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. Let's do that one more time. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. Move to the other side. Get that all situated. Make sure you're not pinching your lid. And here we go. Ready? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. And again, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. All right. So this has a nice straight brush. We're just going to give one coat of mascara to the lashes. If you have black lashes, you are gifted. You may not need to do this at all. But my eyelashes are a little bit fair, so if I don't put something on them, you can see them in front of the false lashes. There we go. So just that one coat. Gonna catch the other side here. Making sure to sweep back so you catch the tips. Just making sure we get every lash coated. Nice. I do see a little something over here. So we're going to dust that off. There we go. And now we're going to catch our bottom lashes. So this mascara puts out a relatively decent amount of mascara. It's not glippy. Feels pretty smooth. So I'm liking it so far. Brush is easy to handle, and I actually really like the funky shape of the end of that because it kind of gives your hand something to grip onto. So win for the shape. Okay, and I see I got it on right there. We're just going to pinch that off, use our bullet. Ta-da! Never happened. Okay, back to the mascara. All right, once you've got your bottom lashes where you want, we're about ready to get our false lashes on here. Feel like those are pretty even. All right, and today we're going to be using a new set of the Nubian Lash. This is in the Zaria or Zaria. I think I say that different every single time. So these are a beautiful flare lash. Like them, they're in the medium volume, but they do have, it's like respectable medium. I like it. It's nice. It's enough to be noticed, but it's not so much that it looks like you got a caterpillar growing on your lid there. All right, so we're going to take those off of the tray gently using the outside corner of the lash. I have trimmed these already from the outside edge, so they are ready to go, but these have not been worn before. So we are going to kind of work these lashes, grab the outside edge, and you're just going to do like this. That's going to soften up that band just a little bit. The flares are easy to tell which is the inside because the inside has a shorter lash than the outside edge. So you can keep the center of these easily visible. Otherwise, be careful when you pick them up, set them down, which way you're doing what. We're going to be using the lash glue from Allure. This is the 18-hour lash glue or adhesive. And our tool that we're going to be using mostly is going to be the velour. And I like this one. Doesn't work great for magnetic lashes. Let me just go ahead and warn you because it is metal. Magnetic lashes are going to stick to it. But if you're using a glue-on lash like I'm doing today, you'll be perfectly fine. All right. And this one has a nice flat paddle. And so we are just going to be applying that glue on that top edge and then also on the inside of the lip of this and trying not to get it on the lash itself. There we go. Making sure that you get all the way to the outside. You don't want any lifting. Okay, once we've got that one done, we can set that down. Pick up the next one. And that's going to go on the on the top edge there. And then also the inside lip. And paying special attention to the inside and outside corners. All righty. So we are going to say our verse one time, and then those should be about ready to be set. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And that comes from Proverbs 3:5. All right. Now we're going to pick up that lash in the center. I'm going to start with my right eye. Doesn't matter which eye you start with. We're going to set that down in the center of the eye, and then we're going to walk it around. So setting that down there. I'm going to go to the outside corner. Grab the inside corner. And these are probably just a little bit too long still, but it'll work. There we go. And we're going to grab the center of the other one and do that same thing. So set that down in the center. Walk that outside edge around. And then catch the inside. Oop. Got a little glue on there. Let me wipe that off. Here we go. And then we're going to make sure that our lashes are worked in with the lashes of the false lash. So just kind of brush those around, get those all worked in. Nice. Those are just beautiful lashes. All right. And then we are going to finish up our look today with our Urban Decay De-Slick. This is going to be our setting spray. This has some oil control properties. You're just going to give that a little bit of a shake, tip your head back. Give a couple pumps. Fan it down. And then you are all good to go. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. It has been a joy to put on some makeup with you this morning. And if you need any assistance with anything, swing on by my store and we'll be happy to help you with a shade match or guide you towards some products. My Mac artist does lessons for you. So you can do a 30-minute or a 60-minute lesson. Let me get that ticker going off across the bottom and let's do a little bit of review. Okay, so we're going to start out with, we're going to kind of try to rapid fire this. Okay, so the first verse that we had was 1 Peter 1:24-25. The grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of the Lord endures forever. Then we moved to I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, Philippians 4:13. Then we had God's grace is all you need, 1 Corinthians 12:9. And we had be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That is Joshua 1:9. Then we had the Lord is my strength and my song. And that was Exodus 13:2, 15:2. Then we moved on to this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And that is Psalm 118:24. The moon and the stars you set in place. Psalm, was that 8:3? Taste and see that the Lord is good. Psalm 34:8. Then we had, and let us not grow weary of doing good, but let's see, but let us not grow weary of doing good, but in due season we will reap if we do not give up. And that was Galatians 6:9. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And that is Proverbs 31:25. Great is the Lord and worthy of praise. Psalm 96:4, I believe that was. Then we had, I have written your word on the palms of my hand. And that is Isaiah 49:16, I think. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, Hebrews 6:19. Then we had finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is just, commendable. If there is any excellence, think on these things. And that's Philippians 4:8. Then we had kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul. I liked that graphic. That one is from Proverbs 16:24. Be the light. That was Matthew 5:16. You are the salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. And let me jump back up here to our review. Then we had set your mind on things above. And that was Colossians 3:2. And then this week we have trust the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. So it has been a wonderful time hanging out with you. We have had so much fun this past year with all these verses. So I hope you have your book and you have been working through that. That is our word and color coloring book. You can see that QR code on and a link on the screen for you. So if you haven't, you still have plenty of time to catch up. We got lots more pages to go, lots more verses to color and to work with. So let me think what else we got. Oh, so we added Podbean as one of our channels, and I'm just waiting on a couple of other approvals, and then we'll have that announced for you as well. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Podbean, you can find us there. So let me go ahead and get us our blessing, and then we will pray our way out of here. So the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And that is our blessing as we walk away this week. So, Father God, we just thank you so much for our time together today, working on some beauty on the outside and a whole lot of beauty on the inside. Father, help us to treasure these words in our hearts, that they will be at our disposal as an armor of God, Father, that we can use these verses to help us remind ourselves all day long about you and how wonderful you are, Father, and to use these verses to help encourage others as well. Thank you so much for this time together. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. May God bless you this week. Until next week.